Australia and the UK have agreed on a trade deal during the week which could boost our economy by up to $1.3 billion a year. It could also provide opportunities away from the unstable situation with China. Now, David McCredie, Chief Executive Officer of the Australian British Chamber of Commerce, is in the studio today. Good morning to you, Dave.
Good morning, Tim. Good to see you.
Yeah, you two. Historic times, really.
Yeah, it's been a terrific week for us, I have to say. The announcement of the agreement in principle between Boris Johnson and Scott Morrison has really paved the way for a free trade agreement to be finalised, hopefully signed by the end of the year, ratified early next year, and who knows, maybe even enforced by the middle of next year.
What does that mean in layman's terms for the people of Australia and the UK?
Well, I think the obvious things are goods tariffs basically go away. So there are lots of products that are still subject to tariffs, whether it's motor vehicles, Scotch whisky, as we always talk about. But there are lots of products actually on that list, mainly advanced manufactured products from the UK in terms of imports into Australia. And there are lots of import taxes, tariffs on products to the UK, including beef, lamb, sugar, rice, all sorts of different things. All of those tariffs will go away, not immediately. Things like sugar, a really great deal for our cane growers, 80,000 tonnes as of year one. The UK only produces about 50% of the sugar it needs every year. So it's a great opportunity for us to really make a new market, a new place for us to do business. We don't currently export sugar to the UK. On beef and red meat, 35,000 tonnes for beef, 25,000 tonnes for lamb. That's significantly more than we export currently to the UK. And that will go over 10 years to a full liberalisation. There will be some safeguards after that so that we can't flood the economy with our beef and lamb, but I don't think we're going to see that anyway. At the moment, we export about 10% of what the tariff will be next year. And I can't really see it going much higher, to be honest, at the moment, because we're all recovering from drought here. I was in the country last weekend and listening to farmers talking about restocking rather than taking advantage of the high beef prices to get stock off their land at the moment.
Now, look, not everyone's going to be happy. There needs to be a bit of a PR campaign if we look at the UK, particularly with local producers.
Yeah, look, the UK is obviously coming from a very different situation than Australia, particularly in the agricultural context, having been part of the Common Agricultural Policy, which in some instances was actually asking farmers not to farm and paying them for that. So they've got a domestic policy change, which they've made, and a 7-year strategy to transition their agricultural business. So during that time, as we start seeing more opportunity for Australian exports, opportunity, not necessarily actual exports, but as we see that transition for the UK, I'm sure that their businesses that are capable of being competitive internationally will succeed. And I think that's a fair and balanced approach. I think it's also important to recognise that they already have zero tariff, zero quota trade with the EU. So Irish beef farmers, French beef farmers, are shipping their product in at the moment with no tariff, no quota, so are as competitive as Australian beef would be if when we get more into the marketplace.
Local producers here in Australia in various sectors have had trouble, well-documented trouble with China recently. Is a deal like this going to help some of them?
Look, it will, but the volumes that we send to China are quite frankly staggering, and many times the amount that we would even potentially in the future send to the UK. I think that when you look at the deals that this government have signed over the last few years in terms of RCEP, with the ASEAN nations, the CPTPP, there are lots of other local markets that we've also opened up more recently. Indonesia is right on our doorstep and a great place for us to send our beef, for example. So I think there's plenty of opportunities to grow more local markets, which are obviously going to be easier for us to access, just purely on geography rather than anything else. So, yes, I think there is a benefit in terms of diversifying our trade, but I don't think it's going to be let's turn the fire hose on the UK.
It certainly helps your business. You are the Chief Executive Officer of the British Chamber of Commerce in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a wonderful opportunity for us. Not just for our business, but for businesses that want to trade between Australia and the UK. There's lots of Australian investment in the UK. There's lots of UK investment here. we're great partners, we're great friends, apart from when we step onto a cricket field.
Which will happen later in the year. And it seems like Boris Johnson and Scott Morrison get on okay?
Yeah, absolutely. We've gone through a really good period, actually, in terms of the relationships that we've had, particularly around trade, but also, defence and security, with Maurice Payne doing a great job, having visited recently, Dan Tehan having been only a few weeks before to meet with their counterparts. And then Scott Morrison really was the icing on the cake and was able to get those final elements together for the agreement in principle and lock that in for us. So, yeah, very strong relationship between Australia and the UK. It helps that they're both on the right side of politics at the moment. But to be honest, during the last 30 years, it hasn't mattered which side of politics has been in. We've always looked to work well together.
Finally, just quickly, the COVID numbers stubbornly staying around up to 10,000. Now, you were saying to me off air before, this is a lot of younger people who are yet to be vaccinated.
Yeah, so the UK's done a really great job in a similar way that Australia's trying to, with starting at the older age groups and working backwards.
Yep.
And what we've seen in more recent times is the people who are presenting with the virus, who are testing positive, are tending to be younger. So they're in the sort of 20 to 35 age bracket. Many of them haven't been vaccinated yet. So there's been a call just in the last few days to encourage people 18 and over in the UK to go and get a jab and to register to get their jabs. And they're doing a great job on the rollout. So I think we'll see that progress quite well. The great news, though, is that for the rest of the population that have been vaccinated, there's very low hospitalisation, no deaths, basically from vaccinated people. So it really shows that the vaccines we have are working well against this variant.